I think we have to really be careful not to think that human nature is what's happened to us after we have been denatured through a process of modernization that took us away from nature, and in so doing it had such a profound impact on our human nature. So let's look at how we evolved. For tens of thousands of years, we evolved deeply connected to the living world, to the trees, to the water, to the soil, to the elements that were always changing, that were the sense of the infinite, that gave us this spiritual joy at being part of something so splendid, so remarkable, such a mystery. We evolved deeply connected to that life, and that meant also deeply connected to the life of human beings. We were deeply connected to the youngest member of our community, to the oldest. They were deeply connected to each other. And I had the privilege of living in a culture that was still functioning in that way in the mid-70s, and I basically realized that what has happened through modernity we shouldn't really call culture, because culture is forever has been the dialogue between human beings and their specific ecosystems, the climates, as I say, the soil, the water in different parts of the world. That's how we had cultural diversity, racial diversity even. That adaptation to life inevitably means diversity. And so now what I'm seeing is that there is such a hunger for reconnection.
Nature is a very big part of the inspiration of my work. If I am feeling disconnected from nature, I pretty much am unable to enter my creative flow. And it's difficult for me, a little bit difficult for me to even think about that, because I've basically navigated my life by always making sure I'm connected to nature. I never lived in a city. I've never spent extensive amounts of time away from nature. It's like, I feel basically, if I am disconnected from nature, I feel like a plant that has been like torn out of the earth, and I start to wilt. And when I start to wilt, I'm definitely not in a state within myself where I have energy to give. It's like the creativity would be my flowers, and when a plant is ripped out of the earth, they're not in a state to bloom their flowers. So for me to feel the earth, to be receiving what I receive through being in connection with her, to be in stillness, to be in quiet, to really have that feeling inside of my heart. You know, I don't have to be right in nature, but I have to feel connected to nature, because I am nature and she is me. I am the earth and she is me. So when I'm disconnected from the earth, I'm disconnected from myself, and that's not a creative state for me.
I think we're told that we are separate from nature. I think we've had a conversation with this. By the very definition, nature is everything else outside itself. But I think what we've potentially lost, and at least my understanding is as to what potentially made me very unhappy or depressed, was a disconnection from nature, and in turn a disconnection from the self. So I try and think about connection and human nature in three ways. One is connection to self, one is connection to other people, and thirdly is connection to the world around us. So understanding our nature in relation to those three, I guess, three things.
Nature is love. It's love. It's the love of God. And that love, it has no boundaries. It knows no separation. There's only one appearing in all the many. And so for me, human nature is that space from which we all came and to which we all must return. And it's a space beyond time, beyond names, beyond labels and our conditioning or religions or beliefs. All of this came after. But when you strip everything away, what is left? And when you strip everything away, there is this space. And in that space, as I said before, it's just complete, it's perfect, it's whole. It doesn't need anything, and it's not afraid of anything. It's like when you come home, it's like, this for me, this is our nature. Our nature is joy, freedom, happiness, peace. This is what also the Buddha found. It's what Christ found. It's what many, many great beings, they discovered this. As Christ said, the kingdom of heaven will not come with signs to be perceived, because the kingdom of heaven is within you. And this is truth for me. It's like the more you strip away, as I said, the more you find that kingdom, that dimension of heaven, of space, of love. I don't actually. I don't have any practice, because what I've found with practice is it's very good, but you end up becoming a practitioner, which is also just another idea in this vast space, which is already here. There's a great story from a saint from India called Ramana Maharshi, and he said, it's like sitting under a tree when there's hot sun and you're in the shade, happy. But you get up from your shade to go and look for something because you think maybe something's missing. I should go and see. And when you get out into the sun, you get really, really hot and tired, and all you want is the shade. And finally you get back under the tree and you say, now I'm free, now I can rest. But you were there all along. But this is almost like the journey of our life, is that being that we have to go through many, many things, experiencing many, many things in order to come back when you surrender and you give everything up and you just say, no, I come home. So there's no practice I can give. It's just life. We are life. We are life. We are existence itself. We are the love of God made manifest. There's not much more we need. That you don't need to do yoga, you don't need to be vegetarian, you don't need anything. You don't need to take medicine. There's nothing that anybody actually needs in order to be themselves, because we are already ourselves trying to find ourselves. And this is the paradox of life, somehow, that we're already at peace, but seeking it outside, maybe through many different things, until you come to realize I was here all along.
I think it's very easy in the modern cities that we live in to live a life of comfort. And so I think about this in the way of, how can I make myself uncomfortable? How can I step into discomfort so that when uncomfortable situations come to me, I'm better prepared. So I love the cold. I love the cold. I love going to the ice. I love going into the heat, into the sauna. The last few years I've been competing in ultra endurance events, so long distance running. I find very meditative in terms of going out for long periods without a phone, in my own thoughts, without music, and getting in a flow with running. Breath work I think is incredible as well, something I tap into. All these things are free, right? They're easily accessible.
My natural health lifestyle practices are being in my body, various practices of really embodying yoga, running, walking, spending time in nature, swimming in the cold English rivers, and really taking care of myself, eating organic food as much as I can, eating food that we grow in our garden, bringing up my child in a way where he's in contact with all of these aspects and it's really integrated into our life.